Hello, everybody. How we doing today? Hello, Malachi. Hello, VCC TV. Hello, Sheppy Hand. And yes, that was the Brinstar theme. Hello, Absitoth. Hello. I've been here for 2 years. A lot has happened. Got hormones and am male to female transitioning. Congratulations, Absitoth. It's a really big step. I'm really glad to hear that you're taking steps to make your life better. Hello, Kyryu. Hello, GamerG. Hello, Natalie Lush. Hello, KBS. Hello, Paladin Lost. Hello, Lily Love Stuff. Hello, Shaloon. Hello, Malachi. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Robert Adset. We got a lot of homies here tonight. Didn't take my Adrenal this morning and got nothing done today. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Adderall. Just starting to struggle with my mental health. Organizing has gotten stressful. Yeah, it does tend to do that when you crunch towards the election day. Oh, Diddums, hello. Hello, hello. How we all doing? Well, folks, today we're gonna have a chill stream, okay? There are too many places online that are not being chill. And I feel like we can agree on some pretty fundamental principles in this community, okay? Suffering from new tech decision-making paralysis? Ooh, what's the new tech decision? But fundamentally, we can agree on a couple things. 1, war crimes are bad. 2, that point number one doesn't change because the circumstances of the people doing the war crimes are bad. You know? Principle one, Jack is hot. No. If only more people would agree. Yeah, I'm pretty sick of seeing people justify war crimes to, like, people whose families were ripped apart by Hamas. You know? It's pretty infuriating. But 3.3, Hamas is not the Palestinian people. You know, you'll see a lot of people on the left, you know, be like, "Oh, well, critiquing Israel isn't critiquing all Jewish people," which is true. But then they act like criticizing Hamas's actions is criticizing all Palestinian people. It's a weird double standard there. Hate MSNBC and CNN being so one-sided. Oh yeah, like there's some transparency in the reporting there for sure. Like yeah, they'll say in Israel X number of people killed, in Gaza X number of people dead, as if, like, you know, they just happened to die that day. Ooh, Paladin. Please, my mental health is fucked by watching Ukraine, Russia, and Palestine, Israel war crime videos. Yeah. Same. We're gonna go over new developments pretty quickly. There's not gonna be as much explicit material as last time. So yeah. So many libs outright defend the war crimes. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. The solution to that, though, is not then us on the left defending Hamas war crimes. You know, that's not the path forward. Let's see. So, as a bit of an update, here's how things are going in the Hamas-Israel conflict. This new war, I guess it's officially recognized as a war now by the state of Israel. The death toll is going to be all over the place, depending on who you look to for numbers. Obviously, it's new, so there's not going to be an official tally for quite some time. But essentially, I mean, some of the numbers being thrown around right now are around 2,000 people total, having been killed in the conflict so far, with thousands more injured. And I have to be honest. My prediction at the beginning was spot on. Again, within like a day. Here is where we're at now. 1 second, gotta fix my screen. Israeli defense minister orders complete siege of Gaza as Hamas threatens hostages. Again, this headline from CNN really doing a lot of legwork here. The complete siege of Gaza here involves Israel cutting off all electricity, all food, all water, all fuel to Gaza. And as a reminder, their major hospitals are currently running on backup generators that consume tens of thousands of liters of gasoline every day. So basically, not only are the hospitals running out of medicine and supplies, they are now running out of even the ability to keep the lights on. On top of that, as we mentioned in the previous stream on this, half of Gaza's population are like teenagers, which is over 1 million people. I really need to emphasize here that while a lot of people aren't yet pointing and calling this genocide, this is going to become a genocidal policy. So, I mean, it's already getting people killed, and it's going to get worse. Now, to really hammer this home, here's the clip, because of course we have a clip of Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant saying the following.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
Yeah, so again, the rhetoric calling them animals, the dehumanization, it's already underway and in full swing. What you talking about? It's been a genocidal policy for the last 20 years. Wrong. And we covered this earlier. It's been an ethnic cleansing policy, which is to be fair, a subtype of genocide for the last 20 years. Hell, for the last 60 to 80 years, really. But what we're talking about here is not keeping them in a gigantic concentration camp, which has been the policy of the last 20 years. What we're talking about is the complete extermination of Palestinians. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's a genocidal policy. This is not a genocidal long-term policy of like, oh, we're going to slowly push them out. No, this is a liquidation policy. So when we talk about this, I need to be extraordinarily clear what I mean. And it is not that this is more of the same. This is an intensification that could very well be pushed to the farthest possible degree. Now, one thing I want to say here is we have another comment here. Yeah, again, there's just being indiscriminate bombing. The deaths are mounting up. And frankly, a lot of this is going to end far, far, far worse. Over on Al Jazeera, which is a decent place to get coverage. At the very least, it counterbalances CNN and MSNBC. There was an interesting bit of analysis, which happened or came out about 3 hours ago. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. Here's what about 4 hours now. According to Palestinian-American political analyst Omar Badar, Netanyahu is looking to liquidate Palestinian struggle. And I agree. Now, for those of you who don't know this, for a very long time, Benjamin Netanyahu provided material aid to Hamas directly in order to create a form of controlled opposition that then aided in his rise to power. He has now reached the very height of his ability. He's looking to form an emergency government coalition that will afford him emergency powers in this time of crisis. And with those powers, he is going to solidify himself as an authoritarian ruler in Israel. And frankly, as an authoritarian ruler in Israel, he no longer has any real use for Hamas. Yes, he will also be able to avoid prosecution. Yeah. So when we're talking about this, we need to also keep in mind that part of Netanyahu's plan only involved Hamas temporarily. He's not going to just let them exist, and I would argue that this is Netanyahu's plan in action to end the two-state solution. Effectively, this is his way of taking control of not just Israel, but also Palestine. Again, Netanyahu sees this as an opportunity to liquidate the entire Palestinian struggle for freedom and justice, Baldur told Al Jazeera. He added that the status quo of permanent apartheid in Israel and the Palestinian territories was not sustainable. It is a situation that is simply setting itself up to an explosion like the one we have just witnessed, he said. Which is where we're at. He laid all the groundwork for this explosion of violence, and now he is going to try and use it to curry international favor as he, kills as many Palestinians as he can. Yeah. We've got stories today of the president of the Palestinian Authority, begging the UN to intercede. And that goes nowhere. You can see just earlier today, Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted out, I think this is supposed to be, we didn't start this, but Israel will win. And it's just videos of bombed out civilian buildings in Gaza. It's pretty horrible. Also, you have to hand it to the Israeli military, okay? You got to hand it to the Israeli military. They were able to put out this advertisement within a day.
Hamas declared war against Israel. Armed Hamas terrorists infiltrated into Israel via a ground invasion and started going door to door slaughtering innocent Israelis. Hundreds of Israeli civilians, including children and women, have been killed or injured, and Israeli hostages have been taken. This is a war, and Israel will take every measure necessary to protect our citizens against these barbaric terrorists.
That was an ad that's running on YouTube right now. Why does this feel like an AI generated ad? It might have been, frankly. That was very hastily slapped together, but it's a real ad. I don't know, man. But you can see all of the worst actors, Joel Pollack, who is the senior editor over at Breitbart News, I have broken the Sabbath and Jewish holiday to deliver this message. Israel should wipe out Gaza, allow 48 hours to evacuate women, children, and the elderly, destroy everything that remains, plowed under and annex it to Israel. This is the end for Hamas and Palestinian terror. This is exactly the swell of propaganda that you're going to see intensify over the next days and weeks. So, I mean, I again just expect more of that, and more of that becoming a more mainstream position. If not in the United States, then within Israel. GamerG, yeah, 100%. Netanyahu's going to give his version of Trump's "I am your retribution" speech. Yeah. Oh, also, if you see anything about $6 billion being sent to Iran, the Biden administration, like, unfroze a bunch of Iranian assets that were held in foreign banks. It was already their money. They just couldn't spend it, and they still can't spend it. They don't have that money yet. It's in the possession, I believe, of the Qatar government. But yeah, it's just not real. So if you see conservatives throwing that around, just know, not a real thing at all. Yeah, Spitfire, things are very, very bad. Israel bombed the mosque. They just showed it in the rubble on Lawrence O'Donnell. Goodness. But I mean, frankly, they're bombing everything. There is not a safe place you can go in Gaza. Which is why, by the way, like, the idea that, like, oh, well, they're just telling people not to hang out where Hamas hangs out. Well, it's like, they can't leave the Gaza Strip. They're sealed in by Israel, you know? Yeah, but they've been striking mosques today. They aren't, like, they aren't safe, and they haven't been safe. Yeah. It's terrible. All I want to make sure you guys know is that I'm not someone who supports war crimes, regardless of who's doing them. Hamas is bad. Civilians are innocent. They are not valid targets. Israeli civilians are innocent. They are not valid targets. And a lot of this is you know, entirely brought on by the policies of Israel that are creating an apartheid state, where Palestinians have just been beaten, killed, and tortured for decades now. The blame for this ultimately is on those apartheid policies. It ultimately is on Benjamin Netanyahu for, you know, funding this.
Out darn spot.
Oh, Salmon Moose, thank you for gifting Absithoth a sub. That's very kind of you. And yeah, ultimately, this can only be solved by lifting the apartheid state. But I'm deathly worried to my bones that the solution to this is instead going to be the one that Benjamin Netanyahu has been pursuing for the last 30 years, which is the annihilation of Palestine So that's where I'm at on this issue. If any of you have questions about where I stand, I feel like I was pretty clear there. So we will move on. Thanks for being here. It sucks. A lot of Palestinians will probably not have no sympathy for Israeli civilian casualties in this crisis, as I've seen on social media. Well, yeah, but like understandably, they don't have a ton of sympathy for Israeli civilian casualties when, you know, their entire life they've lived like without a mom or a dad, and like they just occasionally lose relatives to IDF soldiers beating them to death, or not having health care, or a sniper shooting at them for picking olives. You know, like it's understandable that there's not a ton of sympathy there, but like you know, that's where apartheid gets you, you know? Free Palestine though? Yeah, absolutely. Like the solution to this is not, oh, well, we just need to clamp down on Palestinians harder. Like no, obviously not. Absatoth, yeah. I think it would be a line for the United States support. So I'm hoping that proves enough of a detriment. I love you. All right, folks. Let's that's going to be your Israel-Palestine segment. With that, I need to show you this video that is both funny and horrifying. Just kind of on brand for the channel. Hey, Kevin FM. So, apparently, the new fad among conservative Christian parents is to homeschool your child into a social media influencer, but within the Christian bubble. So that's the new thing. Anyway, here's one of them.
Toby James coming in hot. What are we talking about? What is the plot? If you are a Susie, you can't be a Scott. I know it's a doozy, can't be what you're not. Ain't getting to heaven with nail paint. It's gonna be hot where you're going, that's Hellgate. They gon' have fun with your soul, gon' be jailbait. There's only two, you put more weight, it felt great. I'm homeschooled, I don't follow them. They look like alien hollow man. He coming back, he gon' swallow them. I follow God and I'll never acknowledge them. I look around, I see a circus. All of these trannies are making me nervous, but I serve a big God and I got a purpose. All of these demons will burn in the furnace.
Every day, new gender. I post the truth to the youth and you censor. Can't seem to get rid of me, do better. It's 2023 and still there is only two genders. Two genders. I quote the facts, you delete, you too tender. Man, y'all gotta do better. I love the Bible and it says there's only two genders.
Can it be cringe Christian rap video hour? I mean, I wouldn't say no. Hey, Starry Night. This is very upsetting. Yes, it is. And we're going to break down exactly why. But first, Salmon Moose, thank you for gifting a sub to Sophie. And Kyryu, thank you for gifting a sub to Sophie as well. And Kyryu says hi. He donated for that. So. Clarice says hi back. You only get that because you donate, though. Hey, Boiled Peanuts. Now, we're gonna walk through these lyrics here, just real quick. Toby James coming in hot. I don't know who Toby James is. Is this... I guess this is Toby James? This small child? Okay. What are we talking about? What is the plot? If you're a Susie, you can't be a Scott. I'm sorry, if you're 11, there's no way you believe these things unless this has been, like, the core premise of your education. Oh, God. I know it's a doozy. Can't be what you're not. Only two genders ain't getting to heaven. So now we've escalated from, like, oh, there are only two genders, but if you say that there are more than two genders, you can't get to heaven. So like you die and you go to the gates of St. Peter and you walk up to Peter and he's like, do you think, how many genders are there? And he says, and you say, more than two? And he's like, to hell with you! And then he presses the big red button and you fall down, you know, infinity into hell. You ain't get into heaven with nail. It's going to be hot where you're going. That's hell gate. I'm not exactly sure why he says hell gate. And then they gonna be having your soul. They're gonna be having fun with your soul. Gonna be jail bait. Now, this is how you know that this child did not write this song and was merely made to sing this song. No 11-year-old knows what jailbait is. Yeah, guys, if you're not picking up what this is an 11-year-old making a prison rape joke. Yeah, and also, for those of you who don't know, jailbait typically is used to refer to an underage child, and adult men refer to said child as jailbait because if they were to have sex with her, that would send them to prison. So it's not just like a prison rape joke. It's also a joke about sexy children, I guess. I know he's not in this context making that joke. He's referring to the prison rape scenario, but it's also pretty telling that that same term is used for something else. Oh yeah, boiled peanuts. That's why jailbait was one of the largest subreddits for ages. It was for pedophiles.
Wait, there's only two, you put more weight, it felt great. I'm homeschooled, I don't follow them.
Now, it's pretty clear that this kid is homeschooled. He didn't have to include that lyric in there, but yeah. Also, they look like aliens and alien hollow men. Yeah, non-binary people look like cool aliens. That's true. But that's because cool aliens are hot and sexy. Rumors were Spez, the Reddit CEO, moderated that subreddit and purged the information from the site. Oh no, Spez absolutely moderated the jailbait subreddit. No, that's just facts. That's not rumor. You were homeschooled, boiled peanuts? You dodged a bullet. You know? He coming back, he go and swallow them. I follow God, I'll never acknowledge them. Which, by the way, like, okay, you can say you follow God and that you'll never acknowledge a non-binary person, but, like, you're gonna have to at some point if you, like, go to a Starbucks. I don't know, you can't avoid them forever, kid. Exhaustion's coming for you sometime. Oh, your dad's a Walsh enjoy. I'm sorry. My sympathy. Oh yeah. Also, yeah, again, there's no way this kid knows the T slur and is just dropping it casually in his song. Oh, yeah. Then we end here. All of these demons will burn in the furnace, which honestly just sounds like I don't know anything about this kid's parents, okay? But judging from the imagery being used in the song and the political ideology and the slurs, Genocide thought, well, yeah, but I'm gonna guess that this kid's parents are Nazis. That's kind of what I'm getting off of this. No one has this fanatical need to raise a child this way unless they are Nazis. Yeah, no, like the song's lyrics are about burning F slurs. Like that's like you can't really get around that. Like this kid was raised by Nazis. And you know, I don't hold it against this kid. He's 11. He doesn't know better. But man, this is what Nazi indoctrination does, okay? This kid would be one of the coolest kids in the Hitler Youth. Huh? Okay, that's I don't know if you guys heard that, but my partner just said I'm giving him too much credit. The other members of the Hitler Youth would be beating this kid up and calling him a homeschooled bitch. That's probably true. Anyway, I feel sorry for him. I hope he gets out of the cult. Anyway. Unfortunately, Spectral Pyre, we can't shoot ideas. Oh yeah, we also have to cover this real quick. Folks, it happened. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is out of the Democratic primary race and into the third-party independent run. Let's go.
But the good news is that people like yourselves are finally fed up. Something is stirring.
Oh, also his entire announcement was just a comedy of errors.
It says it doesn't have to be this way. People stop me everywhere at airports, at hotels, and malls, on the street, and they remind me that this country is ready for a history-making change. They are ready to reclaim their freedom, their independence. And
I saw that and I thought, is that in the
And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to declare myself an independent candidate.
Yay! He's an independent candidate. Yay! Wait, what did that sign say? I missed that. Kennedy reunion! You'll find out! Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. He got a QAnoner in the front row. What does that mean? Oh, yeah, sorry. If you guys don't know what this means, the QAnon people believe that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is related, he is related to JFK Jr., and they have an entire mythos. The QAnon community has constructed this entire elaborate conspiracy by which JFK Jr. faked his death and has been fighting the deep state behind the scenes for decades now. And RFK Jr. is the harbinger of JFK Jr. And once he wins the election, JFK Jr. will come out of the shadows and announce the victory over the deep state. Yes, for the record, JFK Jr. died in a plane accident like 30 years ago. So, yeah, this is nonsense. And it's very funny to me that this is already in the front row of his campaign. I'll get to your question, Genzel, after I finish this segment.
Independent candidate for President of the United States. That's not all. I'm here to join you in making
Come on. Can we...
a new Declaration of Independence for our entire nation.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll just remake the Declaration of Independence. Okay,
we
bud.
declare independence from the corporations that have hijacked our government. And we declare independence from Wall Street, from big tech, from big pharma, from big ag, from the military contractors,
From big
and
ag.
their lobbyists. And we declare independence from the mercenary media that is here to fortify all of the corporate orthodoxies from their advertisers and to urge us to hate our neighbors and to fear our friends. And we declare independence from the cynical elites who betray our hope and who amplify our divisions. And finally, we declare independence from the two political parties.
Yay! Yay!
And the corrupt interests that dominate them and the entire rigged system of rancor, of rage, of corruption, of lies that has turned government officials into indentured servants for their corporate bosses.
So, now, real quick, the reason why this is a great thing is because previously RFK Jr. was running within the Democratic primary, which isn't all that interesting because, you know, if he loses the primary, you know, he steps out of the race in the general and everyone unites behind Biden. But what's great about this is that we have Cornel West, and Cornel West has, you know, most of the audience he's going to draw, most of the voters he's going to draw are from the left. And so it's actually a huge problem that he is in the general, you know? However, now we have kind of the counterbalance here. We have RFK Jr. And RFK Jr. predominantly appeals to conservatives. Very, very, very few Democrats support him. And most people, when exposed to him, do not support the things he says. Because again, he's been caught on camera talking about how, like, COVID was a Jewish conspiracy. His only rhetoric that comes out of his mouth is, like, designed to appeal to conservatives, and specifically QAnon nut jobs, which make up a not insignificant amount of Trump's base. And there is a to be clear, like, RFK Jr. is now running against Donald Trump. And when that comes down to the QAnon vote, this is highly polarizing because you have people in different sects of QAnon who believe that Trump is the second coming, and then you have sects of QAnon that think RFK Jr. is the second coming. And yeah, basically with Outro, this is essentially something that is going to even the odds in the general, possibly in a way that favors Biden. Because frankly, RFK Jr. has a lot more money and influence than Cornel West. So there is a much greater chance of RFK Jr. pulling conservative voters over. So, yeah. I'm very excited for this. So, run RFK, run like the wind, and pull as many Republicans along with you as you can. And with that, I'm going to get back to Genzal. I've been watching Gaza live, and there's hardly any retaliation. I wonder what is their plan. Maybe cut supply and attack 1 week. So Genzal, currently, the Israeli government is prepping a massive ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. They've called up around 300,000 members of the Israeli military, and are in the process of assembling around 100,000 on the border with Gaza. There is going to be a massive military incursion into Gaza, and it's going to be horrid. It's going to be completely horrible because it's also going to be taking place in a backdrop under which Israel has cut off food, water, electricity, fuel, basically everything, medical supplies. All of this is going to be, I mean, again, this has the potential to, in the words of that one analyst, be the liquidation of Palestine. There's a lot of really awful forces at work. Didn't Egypt warn grave consequences if Israel invaded Gaza? Egypt did, but I don't think Israel cares. You know, like, Israel is run by fascists, and the fascist in charge is currently seeking to solidify his power. This is the way to do it. Okay. Now, a little bit of background here on this next segment. Now, one of my favorite online lolcows, okay? And I haven't gone over him a lot on this channel, is a man by the name of Shad Brooks. Now, Shad Brooks runs a YouTube channel called Shadiversity. And some of you might remember that we went to that website and looked, or not website, that channel, and we looked at their review of Oppenheimer, where they claimed that Oppenheimer was communist propaganda. Now, today I came across just a top-tier Shad post.
You are very beautiful, Clarice.
Kyrie, don't be weird about my partner, but thank you for the $5 dono. Is that the medieval weapons guy? Yes. Now, Shadiversity has a very fun position on AI art, which is that AI art is good and, in fact, is just as valid as other kinds of art. And here we go. My skills are increasing. Making a video as we speak showing my process and how I got these results. The level of artistry needed, the technical knowledge required, an amount of work involved I think is going to shock people. My AI-assisted art skill 6 months ago. My AI-assisted art skill now. Don't let people tell you AI art requires no skill, and you just press a button to make AI-assisted art. Now, I have to say, just right off the bat, this is an incredible post. Because again, the argument against AI assisted art is frankly not that it doesn't take skill or it doesn't take work to make. It's just that it steals, how it operates is by stealing other people's art and then reconfiguring it. Like that's the that's the problem, right? Like it's stealing the effort and skill of other artists. Yeah, he literally used an IP in the example, an IP that wasn't his, right? Which I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that DC isn't a huge fan of its artwork being plagiarized by large language models. I don't think they're a fan of that. But let's see the follow-up here, which is, here's the promised video. If you think there's no artistry used in AI art, if you think it requires no skill to make the best AI art, and most importantly, if you think AI art is a threat to artists, I made this video for you. You know, it's really telling here that he claims it's AI assisted art, AI assisted art. But if you think AI art is a threat to artists, interesting. There seems to be a demarcation between AI art assisted artist and artist. Interesting. Let's check it out.
Art is very important to me.
Let's check this out. We gotta see.
Ever since I was a very young child, my imagination would run wild, creating characters and stories and worlds. And art has always been a profoundly important part of me
Okay, but can we talk about the art style real quick? Like, what's up with the eyes?
bringing those worlds into greater reality. It started off with drawing.
Also, what's up with, like, the body proportions?
And that's a passion I still have to this day. Creating new characters and depicting the worlds and stories I love to immerse
Yeah, I think this might be Shad's art. Yeah.
myself in. It was a great revelation to me later on in life. It wasn't actually the physical, mechanical movement of drawing that I was actually enjoying, but it was the creation of something. There was some relaxation found in the methodical kind of movements of scraping a pencil along paper, but the true artistic satisfaction was in what I was creating. Otherwise, why wasn't I just drawing straight lines on a single piece of paper forever? But I do understand.
Wait, all of this work is sketched over existing art? He stole the body frames, which is why the proportions are all fucked. Wait, are you serious? Oh no! He didn't bother to learn proportion. I mean, it makes the figures so much more sensical if that's how he did it. I was just assuming he was really bad. And now I'm just learning he's really bad, but not in the way I was trying to make sense of all of this. He sounds like shitty Matt Orchard. Yeah, that's basically his thing.
Understand that there are some people that fall in love with certain mediums, but I still feel the greatest satisfaction comes from this process of creation.
The fuck is happening here? I'm just fascinated.
And then I discovered a new medium where I could depict these worlds and characters to even greater reality, writing. And since then I've become a published author, and writing is one of the great passions of my
I have nothing kind to say about this book cover, okay? They say don't judge they say never to judge a book by its cover. I think it's okay to judge this one by its cover.
my life, as still is drawing and art. My artistic pursuits have just broadened. I love to explore different mediums and tools that help bring my artistic visions into greater reality in different ways. And I've always appreciated tools that help me achieve certain things that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I love the look of inked art on top of my pencil drawings, making the lines more bold and it to stand out and pop from the page, yet it was also a very stressful experience because there was also a greater chance of smudges, and I even had other images ruined.
I don't understand this style.
When small bits of water, just droplets, fell on the page, making the ink bleed. So, when having access to a scanner and being able to scan my hand-drawn images onto a computer, where I could digitally ink my images, solved all the issues and problems I was having with hand inking. It enabled me to do it more precisely, faster, with the ability to erase mistakes and also make later edits. It was a phenomenal tool.
I mean, the cover's not usually made by the author, but the author does tend to choose the cover.
That helped bring my art to the next level, and I never had considered it cheating, or that I was losing some type of artistic pursuit in not wanting to pursue physical hand-inked art. This is the exact same experience I had with coloring. I never particularly enjoyed working with physical mediums, painting, pencils, pastels. The same stresses existed for mistakes, but that wasn't to say I never did it or that I couldn't find great satisfaction in making a hand-colored piece of art. But discovering digital coloring fixed all the problems that I was finding with hand coloring myself, and enabled me to produce much, much higher quality art than I was able to do without it. Technology enabled me to produce much higher quality artworks, cutting out much of the tedious processes, and enabled me to express my artistic vision faster, easier, to a higher level of quality. So as you can imagine, any technology that grants this same benefit, I am very, very interested in, hence my interest in AI art generators. Many people view this new technology as something that robs people of their artistic pursuit and potential. What I see is the exact opposite. Indeed, far from robbing artistic expression, when you approach it with intent.
I mean, honestly, I gotta be real with you. I gotta be real with you, Sweet Myths. This guy's better. I said it.
Having a specific vision in your mind that you want to achieve, it can enable you to bring that vision into a level of reality, detail, and beauty than you might ever have been able to do without it. But when you combine other artistic talents and abilities that you cultivate in other mediums, that enables you to make the very best art with this technology. And I'm not kidding in this. I am an artist. I've developed a very keen eye for proportion.
Honestly, I just feel like, my guy, you're just making the argument that you're a bad artist, and you like how AI just
I hate money, so
makes
take
it
it.
slightly
BWAB waha ha 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 bawahaj.
Archangel, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. I very, very much appreciate it. He's got an eye for proportion.
Proportion and detail, and I have applied that in.
You've got an eye for proportion. What is okay, but like what's happening with his face?
Every artistic pursuit in whatever medium I'm using. There are many people who use AI art who have seen my images that I've made with this technology and have literally asked, how on earth do I produce these results? They see a difference in the quality that I'm able to achieve versus the quality that they have been able to achieve. And
I hate all of these. I hate all of these so much, and it's very funny to me that he's parading these around like he did something great.
The answer is, I'm applying every single talent I've developed in multiple mediums in my pursuit and love of art to this medium as well. AI art generators are not a replacement of artists. In actual fact, it can be one of the most profound and incredible tools for artists. Artists will simply be able to make the very best AI art. But when that is done, it's actually not AI art. The AI art generator is not doing all the work. Far, far from it.
Oh, okay, so he's gonna argue that AI art generators are just like a paintbrush.
I make my AI art, I am in full control with a specific vision in my mind that I'm working towards. And as a result, this isn't made by just the AI, it's made by me using the tool of AI to achieve the specific vision that I have in my mind. This is AI assisted art, just like Photoshop.
Poor quality image I made as a teenager. AI conversion enhancing the old concept. But like you're uploading your shitty art.
I'll donate some subs for a dramatic reading of the author-provided description for Shad's book here. Also, BWA.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that real quick. But first I just have to say, like, what he's doing here is just feeding this old image into, like, Stable Diffusion, and then having it, like, create something with the amalgamation of far more talented artists. Like, it's not like you using the tool to make your crappy art better. It's you stealing the accumulated, you know, dragon's hoard of stolen copyrighted material, and then that is just being funneled over your shit art. Like this, that's what's happening. Okay. Let's take a look real quick. Dramatic reading. A dramatic reading of Shadow of the Conqueror, Chronicles of Everfall. Who better? Sorry. Who better to fight back the darkness of the world than the one responsible for most of it? Dalen, once known as the Great Bastard, the Scourge of Nations, Dalus the Conqueror, has lived in hiding since his presumed death. Burdened by age and tremendous guilt, he thinks his life is coming to an end. Unbeknownst to him, he's about to embark on a journey towards
I'm really
redemption.
sorry about that, Jack.
It's okay, Kyrie. Thank you for the $5 dono. A journey towards redemption, where his ruthless abilities might save the world. Many battles await, with friends to be made, and a past filled with countless crimes to confront, all the while trying to keep his true identity a secret. Indeed, it might be too much if not for the fabled power awaiting him. Everfall is a world of perpetual day, where the continents float in the endless sky. If one jumps from the continent, they will fall for many hours before returning to the same place from which they fell. Skyships rule the air powered... Skyships rule the air powered by Shining Sunstone and Industrial Darkstone. A legendary order of knights bears mystical powers, which they use to hunt out the dreaded shade. Monsters that regular people turn into if trapped in darkness for the length of a fall. It's a world of enchanted swords, merciless monsters, mystical knights, and hard magic. Filled with tales of wonder and adventure. Hard magic. Oh, God. I like you. Hard magic. Stop, Dalen. His magic's harder than yours. I've got the hardest magic in all the lands. Erector Spectronum! Oh, God. If your magic remains hard for longer than 4 hours, please seek medical assistance. Fuck. Anyway, back to this shit. There's 37 minutes of this.
Is digitally assisted art, although it includes many AI processes that enables people to cut corners, make shortcuts, achieve goals much easier and quicker, that many people don't want to acknowledge that they are using in their...
Also, just real quick, just looking at the AI generated image for a second, like, what even is this? Like, the materials don't even look right on, like, the skirt or the shirt. Like, what is happening here? Also, why is her shirt, like, either vaguely translucent or, like, tinged with yellow? Like, I don't get it.
Their own digital art, but criticizing the exact same type of use and methodology that is actually present in AI art generation. Therefore, to prove that great amounts of artistry can absolutely...
Also, I deeply despise that the AI art he generated for, like, women... That looks like a teenager, right? Right, guys? Like, that looks like a babby.
Be applied to AI art generation to achieve far greater results than what people are able to achieve without artistic talent and technical knowledge in the program itself. I'm going to take you through step by step, showing the entire process of the creation of...
I'm just saying, this is sussy as hell.
One of my AI assisted art pieces, explaining every single step, also to help other people improve their art and ability to work with this new technology. So to demonstrate this process, we are going to be making an image of one of my...
Also, all of these look terrible. You know?
She's getting it hard, because this isn't the hard magic. The hard magic is my asterisk, 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 asterisk.
Oh, excellent reference to Dr. Horribles.
Favorite fictional characters.
Thank you for the 3 tier 1 subs.
I had a big crush on Supergirl growing up, and have a lot of...
Yeah, bro, we can tell. We can tell.
Of nostalgic connection for this character, and what I love to do is to depict my wife as Supergirl, because that's who she is. She is my Supergirl. She's the most beautiful creature in the world to me, and...
Okay, that's pretty sweet. I can't fault him for loving his wife.
So I love making art of my wife. She is my muse, and I particularly love depicting her in the way that I see her. People don't see what I see when I look at my wife.
Hey, you're my muse and the love of my life. I'm saying that to you. Yeah, my muse. My muse. Alright, moving on.
When I look at my wife, I see the most beautiful creature in the world. I see my Supergirl. The first step is to choose the AI image generator. There are multiple ones out there, but I use the local installation of Stable Diffusion in the automatic 1111 interface. The reason why Stable Diffusion is the best is that it enables you to use multiple extensions and add-ons, giving you far more freedom and control, enabling you to...
Archangel, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Y'all helping to put food on my table, and I very much appreciate it, because people keep telling me I need food to live. It sounds like a scam, but I'm gonna go along with it for now.
Achieve the artistic vision you have in your mind. It goes far beyond just trying to describe what you want in a prompt, because the very nature...
Yeah, that's the other part, right, Kropotkin's loaf? Like, just real quick, I'm gonna throw out a hypothetical for you guys. On the one hand, you have a partner who loves you and adores you, right? And they draw you, you know, they spend painstaking hours drawing you in like some kind of cute pose or something, you know? The beauty they see when they look at you, right? That's really sweet. On the other hand, you really love your wife, and so you type a bunch of words into an AI art generator to make her look like Supergirl. I mean, which is more romantic? I think I know which one is. One of those is only good for a little, like a chuckle. The other one is like a meaningful romantic gesture.
Nature of AI art generators are infinite, and you don't want infinite outputs, you want a specific result. And as soon as you are working towards a specific result, it is quite impossible to get that out of a prompt and a click. It's going to take far more processes to achieve what you want and to make a flawless final image. There are many tutorials in how to install Stable Diffusion, and once it's installed, it actually runs through your web browser. You're not going to a separate website, it's literally running locally on your computer. People assume that once you have Stable Diffusion installed, all you need to do is copy someone else's prompt and start spitting out incredible results. This is very far from the truth. Stable Diffusion comes with a base model, which is a set of training.
Okay, I do have to ask, is this video of him typing in stuff? Because it is very funny that he wrote a Batman fighting a dragon and a giant.
Parameters that kind of encompasses
okay,
the brain
he
of the image generator. There are hundreds, going on thousands, of different AI image generating models made by the community at large, and experimenting and finding.
And all of them are sussy.
The best models to achieve the vision that you want is actually a very important part of this process. I've worked with many different models, finding out their strengths and weaknesses, and as a result, I know which model will better help serve me in what I want to achieve. And to reach the quality
Yeah, again, it's somewhat telling that, like, half of these are lowly.
That I'm able to achieve, I actually do something that not everyone does with these AI image generators. I use multiple models for the same image, which I will demonstrate a little later. And so to achieve this end result, I've needed to train a model based on my wife's face. This has been a long and difficult process with many failed attempts. The final face models that I have of my wife are the result of hundreds of hours of work. And the process to achieve that.
Yeah, it's hundreds of hours of work for you to train the model using other people's work. But if you're going to use just your wife, then it's going to be, you know, of you taking pictures of your wife. And I'm sure that's a lot of work. It's not really that impressive. For the water.
Is a video in and of itself. At the moment, I have 3 very high quality, workable, usable face models based on my wife that can each achieve a different type of artistic output.
A different type of wife. It's like I now have 4 wives.
I often use all 3 of them in conjunction to achieve the very best results. First, you need to refine the prompt, and finding the prompt that works best is a process that can take thousands of...
I have to say, I did not expect this to be a my wife video.
Different tries. Just copying a base prompt that you find online does not grant you the knowledge of what individual words are doing what to achieve the results, because tweaking the prompt is an important part in guiding the AI to get the results that you want.
Yeah, so in other words, you create the model and then you figure out the keywords you need to generate the appropriate model. Yeah, we get it.
So, knowing how to weight certain prompts, the order of the prompt, the types of keywords are all very crucial.
This guy is one family tragedy away from a Black Mirror episode.
Experienced people with these programs know how to tweak the prompt as they generate images, guiding it by altering the prompts to get the results you want. But this is still only the first.
Yeah, by the way, it is telling that he's like, look, I use pictures of my wife, but you know, I don't want it to look exactly like my wife. I want it to look like how I see my wife.
First part of the process. There is still much more required. as well as additional things that can drastically affect and change the results, which are called lauras. Lauras are like additions to models that can be applied to any model that have been trained to push the results in a certain direction. And most people who first try Stable Diffusion have no idea what they are, or that there are even different models to use, or the importance of keywords, order, weighting in prompts, and figuring out all of this is actually technical knowledge, skill in using this technology.
I mean, yeah, it's basically a slightly more complicated way of using like a Google. Essentially. Like, this isn't, like, he's trying to make this seem like it's so much more than it is, but like, yeah, it's the equivalent of knowing how to Google something. Yeah.
Even when the technology improves with updates, you need to learn how to use those updates. What is it doing? Oftentimes new extensions need to actually be...
It'd be cute the first few times, but after a while, as the wife, I'm gonna start wondering why he never depicts my real body in his shows of affection. Yeah.
looked for, found, added to Stable Diffusion, and you then need to learn how to use them. Getting better at using these tools and taking advantage of how this technology gets better...
I just have to say, like, the after picture, it just looks terrible. Guy, like, how are you using this as an example of, like, see how well I do it? It looks like a bad Photoshop. Like a real bad Photoshop.
Is a crucial part in making the best quality art with this technology. So the prompt that we're using here is raw photo, full body image of a beautiful sci-fi supergirl flying in the sky and wearing a long red pleated skirt and red cape and red boots. Starting with a full descriptive line.
Wait, Shad has a talented older brother? That makes a lot of sense.
The image gives far more weight and guidance to the prompt. This doesn't work with all models though. You have to know the best prompts that work with different models. Then I have the line trigger word that generates my wife's face. This trigger word will literally achieve nothing in models that are not trained off of my wife's face, and so for the majority of these first generations, this is doing nothing.
His hundreds of hours could have been spent learning... Honestly, it could have just been spent learning Photoshop. I mean, Distron, it looks bad to me visually. Like we'll start with this one that he keeps showing, right? First of all, the lighting is completely wrong. Like it's hitting the armor in like different ways that don't make sense, and also it like the lighting doesn't fit with the face. Like, you also see, like, the differences in, like, the textures that just don't make a ton of sense. On top of, like, the just kind of what you're working with on the base is just bad. Like, this isn't interesting to look at or good. The character design is bad. And then you have just, like, you know, the materials aren't behaving for, like they should, while bending in these ways. Obviously. The hands are weird with the interaction here with like the leather. Again, and then that brings me to like the ultra realistic face next to the very not realistic everything else. Oh, like the face and the bow are both like super realistic to a degree that doesn't fit with the rest of the artistic direction of the character model. And yeah, the proportions are all wonky and wrong. And just generally bad.
Taking advantage of how this technology gets better.
Yeah, she also looks like she's about to piss herself. That's true.
Quality art with this technology.
Yeah, also just to imagine like a real woman trying to make this pose. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Especially not with like the expression of like casual boredom, but smiling to be polite anyway that is going on here. Like, it's a combination of a lot of little details. And it's not, I wouldn't even put these as like little details. These are pretty fundamental details.
Technology gets better is a crucial part in making the best.
Like again, like I said before, this is like what somebody who's bad at Photoshop would make.
Quality art with this technology. So the prompt that we're using here is raw photo, full body image of a beautiful sci-fi supergirl flying in the sky and wearing a long red pleated skirt and red cape and red boots. Starting with a full descriptive line of the image gives far more weight and guidance to the prompt. This doesn't work with all models though. You have to know the best prompts that work with different models. Then I have the line trigger word that generates my wife's face. This trigger word will literally achieve nothing in models that are not trained off of my wife's face, and so for the majority of these first generations this is doing nothing. Then I start with guiding keywords. These are all very important guiding words of elements that I want in the prompt, and some might confuse you a little, like armor and sci-fi armor, metal top. The type of Supergirl image I want is one that has a more sci-fi looking Supergirl outfit, with detailed gold accents on the top and belt and boots, and these keywords the exact type of thing that will heavily influence.
Guys. You don't understand. He's doing art right now. He's doing art, and his wife is going to love the image of person smiling young woman, Supergirl image that he makes her. Why not just learn the art skill instead of investing all this effort into prompts? Look, art is for chumps. Okay, it's a chumps game. The real skill now is not being able to make art. It's being able to steal other people's ability to make art.
It's the output, and I've only figured out that they work this way through experimentation.
He's learning bad
My
creative
next
writing.
prompts
Yeah.
are now focused on the actual imagery, the artistic style.
Is this a horrible person? Well, he is a horrible person, but he also is making bad arguments for AI art. So yes, both.
There are a couple of repeats there, that adds additional weight, and some prompts I did learn just work well from other people who work with these programs, like DSLR. The last part of the prompt, I have two LoRa's working. One is a noise offset which makes better lighting, and the other is a LoRa that adds mecha-type technology details. Both these LoRa's are available on Civitia, and the mecha one is particularly awesome when pushed to a further degree, can get some really cool sci-fi results.
I mean, yeah, this just looks like he de-aged his wife to a teenager. And then also her head is way too big for her body. It's very weird.
But I'm using it here just to weight the generation towards a more sci-fi looking outfit, specifically in the metal accent details of the image. So this is the way that I prompt, and the specific order of the different categories of prompts affects the output, and it actually results in an AI-generated artistic style. My AI-generated...
Wait a minute, is this supposed to be him? Wait, is he just AI generating art of himself and his wife? For his characters? Is that what's happening? Like, wait. Because he looks...
Hey guys, we need to get to the crypt, hurry up. Hey guys, we need...
Because he looks like this. I think that's supposed to be him. It has his facial hair. Oh my god, it's supposed to be him. Oh, dude.
AI-generated artistic style. My AI-generated images have a particular look to them, and it's the...
Okay, so he's AI generating images of himself and his wife. I mean, like, nothing wrong with this, I guess. Like, if you want to do that, that's fine. Go for it. The argument, though, that it's just as valid as, like, learning how to draw these characters. Well, because, again, he de-ages them, Kropotkin's Loaf. He asks for them to be young women. And if you look at what the AI model trains on, it's very sussy.
Result of the way that I
Why does all of this feel oddly creepy? Because we're looking at the end result of, like, 10 billion images being aggregated at us through Google search terms. Like, that's why it looks creepy. Like, that should creep you out. This is what the Uncanny Valley was made for. To warn us that these things are trying to steal our souls.
Prompt, and I prompt this way because it gives me the results that I want. This is not random. This has been achieved through trial and error experimentation. And yes, someone can just copy and paste this, but they're still not going to get the same results as me, because next is my process. And the next stage in that process is choosing the specific model to generate the first image that is going to be the foundation of the final image. But you might be shocked at how different this first image is compared to how it will look to the final result. After experimenting with multiple different models, I do have to say Rev Animated is one of the very, very best in terms of creative.
I do have to say, we need to have another D&D session with Karl Marx. I did enjoy that. We gotta have Karl Marx roll up a new character. I enjoyed that Karl Marx became a trans lady in about 10 minutes. So, look, we got him, girls.
Design. Fine details in clothing, lighting, composition. Rev Animated is incredible, but if you're only going to use Rev Animated, you're going to be limited by this model's limitations. It is not a realism model. It is made to make animated looking images. So we are going to be using the strengths of Rev Animated combined with the strengths of other models to achieve what we want. So I start generating a couple of images, and yes, some look good, but they don't have what I'm after. And then I generated this image, and at first...
Guys, again, his skill is writing a prompt and then finding the image that he likes.
I was ready to move on, but I paused because there was something that I saw in this image that I had to go back to, and this is where applying artistic talent is really important. You might not see what I see in this image, but I see potential for a brilliant pose and composition here. It's not actually there, but I see the potential for it. This is hugely important, and it defines such a massive difference in someone who is able to apply an artistic eye to this process versus
Guys, he applies his artistic eye. You don't understand. You don't understand. It's the eye in his pants, okay?
Someone who doesn't have the experience or ability to do so, and they're just limited with the images that they're able to generate.
His skill is
and
mediocre
so with this
aesthetics.
image, I now have a vision of what I can achieve with it. But to achieve that, that's going to require me editing the image into a far stronger guide to what I want the final image to be. And so to do that, we're going to bring it into Photoshop, but first we want a more...
I want this guy to go into an art school and tell them that he does art. I want to see a bunch of art students beat this guy up. Huh? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this guy showing up, they would mog him. Yeah, exactly. It would be devastating. When I say art students would beat him up, I mean emotionally and mentally, the way he deserves to be beaten up. Yeah, yeah.
more detailed version of this same image. And so we're going to repeat the seed with the exact same prompt, which means we're going to generate the exact same image, but we're going to do the high-res fix, which is going to upscale it using the same seed input, which means the additional detail it's going to add is not going to warp the image away from what we want. So it generates the exact same image, and then you're going to notice that it gets blurry once again. This is what the high-res fix is doing. It adds more noise to the image and then adds greater detail, upscaling it into a larger size. Now that we have this image in Photoshop...
Look, you don't understand. You don't understand. Look. Yeah, the sun might be behind her, chat. But what you don't understand is that there is another sun above her, and then a third sun directly in front of her. Okay, like, you guys just don't understand the complex world building happening in this picture.
I'm going to recompose many of its elements to the image that I want it to be. And I wonder if any of you can actually see what I see in this image, the potential. Take a good look at it. But in any case, I am going to show you. So I bring the image into Photoshop, and I see that there is a problem with the left shoulder. There is a bit of armor there that doesn't fit, so I'm going to copy the right shoulder over and place it over the left one, just so when I regenerate this image, it's not going to have a silver kind of mark there. It's going to register that no, this is supposed to be blue, and it's going to regenerate the image with the correct shoulder. The right hand has potential.
Okay, so he knows how to use Photoshop, then why is he settling for worse images? He could fix the weird head problems his wife-generated images have.
But the left hand is a mess, so we're simply
Why?
going to take the right hand and copy it over to the left one. This doesn't mean that I want the hands to look exactly the same, it just means that the AI is going to have a much stronger guide to make a far more realistic looking hand when we regenerate this image. Now we come to one of the more important parts of this recomposition of the image to give a much stronger guide to what I want to achieve, and it's in the cape. There is something really cool here in the cape that has great potential. You might not be able to see it, but you will see it as I alter the image. And part of me altering the cape, I'm also going to be changing the background. I want an image of Supergirl flying through the air, and this actually has a brilliant beginning for a background sky, but the issue is there are buildings in the way, so we're going to edit out the buildings. This has also given the side cape of Supergirl here a much cooler kind of flaring out silhouette, but that silhouette can be improved once we finish off changing the background to a sky. And we're going to be taking out the flaring kind of side of this cape and copying it to the other side, which is going to give a much more striking silhouette to this Supergirl image. Then we're going to crop and center the image so that silhouette is even more striking, and we have the base foundation image of the one that I want to achieve, the vision.
I'm baffled by the series of decisions he's making to try and achieve the image he's going for.
I have in my mind has now been composed by hand in Photoshop. This is not the AI.
Is he not going to fix the tits? No. Why would he? They're perfect.
Doing this is me making a hand composition based off an AI generated image, making many significant changes to achieve a far greater composition that the AI never would have made on its own. I realized that there was one change that I forgot, and that's the kind of metal stockings that she has on her legs. No, I don't want that. So I'm going to paint over this with a basic skin texture, and notice that I'm adding simple shading to it. Yet even this simple shading does require a knowledge of basic shading principles. And so the previous experience I have in digital coloring is being used to a very significant degree.
It's being used to a very significant degree. Shows us the worst shading job I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of these thigh-high stockings. I'd prefer if she was in nothing at all.
Here. Without that, it would have been much, much harder for the AI to redo the legs in a better, more realistic look, and to have had removed those metal kind of stockings. So I just want you to take a look at the before and after of this image. All these edits were done by hand, or, digital hand. You know what I mean. And already there has been significant human input to get the results that we want. And to say
significant human input.
The final image that we're going to get out of this foundation was just made by the AI is completely false and disingenuous. But this is only the beginning. There's a lot more involved to get the final results. We have a great composition with dynamic lighting, a good pose, and it's been the combination of using the strengths of the Rev animated model and my own artistic eye and digital illustration ability.
Why are we watching Shadowversity? Because he put out a video about AI art, and I couldn't help myself.
Achieve it. And so now I want to make this image more realistic, and to do that we need a different checkpoint model. We're going to switch from the Rev animated model to the realistic visions model. So now we take this foundation.
Oh, okay, so your new innovation was you had an AI generated image and then you just put it through another AI generator. Okay, gotcha.
This edited version and put it into the image-to-image function of Stable Diffusion. The generations now are going to be based off of this foundational image using the Realistic Visions model. And the result is actually pretty darn cool already. Many people might be happy with this result, especially...
Why are her tits poking out of her uniform? No, really, why...
if they don't have the artistic eye to see all the errors in it, or the ability to fix those errors. We're going to adjust some of the settings here. Knowing how the adjustment is going to affect the output is also very important.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I couldn't see through the very deep sci-fi world building that's happening here. She's up high in the sky, so obviously it'd be cold, of course. Also, yeah, again, I feel like every time he's running it through the AI model, he's making it look younger, which is gross.
Important, the denoising strength and the CFG scale. I want to give the AI a little more freedom in altering it, but not too much, and so I'm going to regenerate the image now. And what I've done right here, knowing how to work the settings to get the results you want, is something that only comes with experience and practice. It is literally a skill that you develop using this new tool. And the final result is better. Specifically, look at how much better the hands are because I was able to give the AI a little more freedom to push it towards the results that I want. But I also changed the feet a little bit, and I like the feet of the original base image a little better. And so I'm going to generate a new image with less freedom to get the feet I want. And so what I'm doing here is I'm generating for...
Yeah, you have a you got a 4-year degree? Get blown the fuck out by Stable Diffusion.
different results at different parts of the image. Different settings sometimes gives enough freedom to get a better result, say on the Superman S, but lower settings will get a better result for the feet. And so then, what am I supposed to do if I like one thing from one?
I feel like one thing from one thing, what am I supposed to do? I just photoshopped them on each other like a giant fucking Frankenstein. Let's go!
Image and elements of another one. Well, we're going to combine them. And we do that in Photoshop. And so I have 3 base images that I'm going to work with.
His revolutionary idea was just generating multiple images and photoshopping them together. Damn. I'm glad he's giving us this step-by-step tutorial.
And I'm going to grab some of the best elements of each. It's done the foot really, really well in this image, but only the left foot. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to change that into a right foot and add it to the image. Again, the ability to do this requires knowledge of anatomy and proportion. Because I know how to draw feet, I also know how to change and warp this.
My brother in Christ, I don't think you know proportions. You opened this video by showing us how you do not know those things.
This one, so it will match a right foot in the image. Literally photo bashing from the assets I've been able to create from the AI image generator. There are some unnecessary parts, additions on the skirt that shouldn't be there, so we're going to remove that as well. This is simply having an eye for proportion and consistency.
I'm sorry, were you done with the foot? Because it doesn't look like you should be, bro.
On the skirt that shouldn't be there, so we're going to remove that as well. This is simply having an eye for proportion and consistency in the
Kill
image.
me.
The skirt is also too short
I
for
would
my
if I
liking as
could.
well, so we're going to increase the length, and it doesn't need to be flawless in its quality. It's going to mess up the consistent lines of the pleats of the skirt, but that actually doesn't matter, because what we need is to give the AI a guide so it knows what to fix. That's what we're doing here. And what we want to fix is specifically the length of the skirt. It will be able to fix the pleats on its own if we give it enough freedom, specifically in the denoising strength. There is another error here on the image that you need to have a keener eye to see. Do you see on the right part of the cape how the sky is brighter above the cape but darker underneath? That gives a kind of unnatural transition to the cloud, so we're just going to brighten it a little underneath.
Yeah, you suckers. You fools. None of you would have noticed that. None of you would have noticed the absolute... You need to have a keen eye for this one.
The cape so it looks more natural. The way the cape connects to the top is also a little inconsistent, and I would actually like kind of metal toggles or something that's going to attach the cape to the outfit. So we're going to add 2 gold lines added by gold accents on the outfit. This means removing certain lines that we don't want on the image and adding new lines that we want the AI to latch onto and fix. We're also going to readjust the color so the AI again has a stronger guide to color the image how we want. And here is the before and after of the image with the edits that we have made in Photoshop. There is another significant element that we're going to do here that's going to help improve the quality of this image dramatically. So much so that my graphics card doesn't actually have the power to do it. We want the image to be a higher resolution, which is going to increase the
Yeah, it does seem like it's going in... it's actually becoming worse.
Details to a large degree. But if my computer isn't strong enough to handle such a high resolution image, how are we going to continue improving the image? Well, the key is using the in-painting feature of Stable Diffusion. The resolution that we're going to increase the image to is 2000 pixels high on its length. So whatever the width is, it's going to adjust automatically, but the height of the image is now 2000 pixels. And we're going to bring that into Stable Diffusion. By using the in-painting feature, the image generator doesn't need to generate a 2000 pixel high image and overtax my computer. It's only going to generate the section of image that I'm highlighting, which is actually closer to around 700 pixels, not 2000. But it also means that section of image is a higher resolution than what it was. This is actually a more advanced technique that not many people know of who do Stable Diffusion image generation. By increasing the resolution of the image and then using InPaint to generate smaller sections of that image. One, of course, you're able to produce a much higher resolution image from the generation phase, but this also enables you to control and get much higher details, especially smaller details that Stable Diffusion can't usually define or latch onto when the image resolution is too low. This can be important with small elements of the picture like buckles or buttons or symbols, eyes and more.
So this gives you higher resolution assets to work with in Photoshop. Yeah, I think we get it, bud.
And so we're going to regenerate that section of image using the image-to-image feature, so it's using the input image as its base and foundation to be the primary guide for the results. And sometimes the results are very subtle and different, but as I compare them, I can see that the S works better in one and that the belt looks better in another. And so we're going to bring that image back into Photoshop and we're going to make certain corrections. The shade transition on the bust is too jarring and it makes them look pointed, and so we're going to smooth those out.
I just... Dude, you could just make all this in Photoshop. Like, why...
We're going to remove certain lines that we don't want on the outfit.
You actually
and
know
we're
how to
going
use
make
it.
the toggles that are connecting the cape consistent on each side, removing certain artifacts and elements on the image that don't make sense, like fixing up the neckline. We're going to bring that image back into Stable Diffusion image to image, and we're going to lower the settings so it doesn't alter it at
Marking
14 asterisk got a asterisk tier 4 asterisk subscription.
Marking, thank you for the tier 4 sub. I very, very much appreciate that. Thank you. Hope you've been doing all right.
as much. But using as a guideline for the new image, we're going to generate different results.
Oh, Solazar. It's so much worse than you can even possibly imagine.
Results, and it's already looking much better with higher detail. And there are still many additional things that we need to fix. The next stage is fixing the skirt, and so we're going to bring that into in-painting.
Yeah, we need to
select
fix the
skirt
skirt.
and adjust the settings to generate a much better, more consistent result.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not perfect. There are still edits and fixes that we need to make in Photoshop, so I bring it back into Photoshop and make those fixes. Some of the gold lines have become washed out, so we're going to do another color kind of correction and guideline in the image, putting that on a new layer and adjusting the layer settings so it blends nicer and gives a better guide for the AI. There is also an error on the seam line of the neck that we're going to fix here, and you might notice the tool that I'm using most of all is the stamp tool in Photoshop. Back into in-painting, we select the top, and we have a better guide to generate the results that we want. I specifically want the top to look less like cloth, but a thicker type of material verging on armor, and so I adjust that in the prompts, giving greater weight to what I want, and look at how the results already look more armored or more metallic. And it's through experience that I now know how adding weight to certain words in the prompt will affect the image. This is one of the reasons why I have far more control in producing the images that I want over a person who just...
By the way, here's an image of Supergirl from the 2023 comic and Sasha Cal playing Supergirl from The Flash. Note how neither of them look 14 years old. Yeah. Oh, wow. You mean people can just do that? Have good art in costuming, or have good art just in general? How long is this vid? It's almost 40 minutes long, but I'm just fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by it. Yeah, note how neither of these women look like they're teenagers. You know, I think that's maybe a good quality to have in Supergirl. Anyway.
Copied and pasted a prompt and doesn't actually know how those words in the prompt is affecting the finer results of the image generation, and therefore they don't...
Huh. You didn't know you could use parentheses when you Google things, did you? That's what this feels like. Is it still... Yeah, it's still meant to be his wife. Despite looking like a literal child. It's so creepy.
Know what words to emphasize or de-emphasize, to add or remove, to get far more refined and specific results. It's knowing how to make subtle differences like this, how to guide the AI to the image that you have in your mind, that is so important, that enables you to get more specific results. And it also proves that getting these specific results is literally impossible for the AI generator on its own. It's requiring such constant guidance and human input. This literally feels like me making changes on a canvas with a brush. And based on the results, I go back into the prompt, changing it, making greater weight and differences, continually refining towards the result that I want. And we finally have a much...
As far as I know, like, Supergirl and Superboy are supposed to be generally around 18 years old, but, like, usually range from between, like, 18 and 24. Oh, Dead Domain. We are covering a certain lad on YouTube who has a channel called Shadiversity, and he's a British guy who's the most smug and conservative man you could possibly imagine. And he puts out videos on his channel like, is Oppenheimer communist propaganda? Or here's how to use a medieval crossbow, or here's how to make a crossguard, or, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, he's firmly in the guys are only ever thinking about the Roman Empire, except his Roman Empire is comic books and medieval weaponry. He's Australian. Oh, oh God. The second-hand British. Oh no. But also, like, he put out a 40-minute long video defending AI as, like, authentic artistic expression and is walking through his very unique process of how to make AI art, which is use one model to create an image, then use Photoshop, and then put that through an AI model, a different AI model, and then use Photoshop, and then put that one through an AI model and use Photoshop again. Except every person he makes is either an AI-generated version of himself or his wife, and it's very creepy and weird.
Better image, which is the direct result of very intentional action taken by myself. This wasn't the AI pushing for these results, that was me, as if I had a digital brush remaking the image.
As if you did, like a brush you might have in Photoshop, except you didn't use that brush. You just had an AI model come up with a bunch of generated results for you.
Still not perfect, we need to make some fixes in Photoshop. Removing lines, artifacts, defining certain shapes, fixing up colors, and more. Back into image to image, we're going to do another generation but with a much lower setting, because we don't want the AI to change the image too much at this point, but what we want is for the AI to blend all those edits together so they look seamless. And look at the result here. This is so much better. In fact, the top is...
Yeah, the best way to describe this channel is this is the I Studied the Blade channel.
Basically done. It's easily of high enough quality that many people would be happy with. I'm going to make some additional edits a little later on, but we are ready to move on to other elements of the image.
Many people would be happy with this. Again, it's very... The head is just so creepy.
Fixing up the skin tone on the legs, fixing up the hands and so they look far better and more realistic. This again is literally digital illustration that I'm applying to the image. We're going to fix up...
wait, he collaborates with Sargon of Akkad? I didn't know that.
The color in certain parts as well, and then even make more significant changes to the color because I actually want red cuffs instead of pure gold. So this is a matter of adding a color layer and adjusting the layer settings to change the color from underneath but using the same texture and shading. Back into image to image, and then I'm going to regenerate the hand and cuffs. But I want the prompt to guide it in the direction where I want, and there is a lot of elements in the prompt that are completely unnecessary for hands. I first need to add detailed hands to the prompt for it to give it a focal point that I'm generating hands here, and then I can remove a lot of the other unneeded elements. And now the hands are looking much.
I am somewhat concerned by the fact that he started out this video by blocking out his wife's name, and in the subsequent showing of that prompt, it has not been blocked out. My guy.
Much better. But the cuffs don't look metallic enough or armored enough, so I'm going to...
Why is her head so much bigger than her body? Because the head was generated based on images of his wife and then placed through, a dozen more iterations of AI generation, and the head just never became the right proportion.
Regenerate those with the mecha Laura added back in, which is going to make it look more metallic.
We're doing all right,
Tegma.
Tegma.
We're almost done the larger elements, bringing the image into a higher resolution, and the next crucial stage is to generate a higher resolution and more detailed face. But of course, we're going to be giving this image the face of my wife, and so I'm going to load in the model that I personally trained, and we're going to use that in image to generate my wife's face. And I'm going to adjust the prompt to give her the expression that
Okay, that wasn't his wife's face yet.
I want her smiling. My wife has one of the most beautiful smiles in the world. And so we generate it several times with different settings until we have a face that is actually looking really nice. And the image could be considered mostly complete at this point, but I'm a perfectionist and I'm an artist. I want this image to be as good as possible. This is the difference between someone with an artistic eye, an eye for proportion and detail, versus someone who doesn't. There are many people who would look at this image and not be able to see any additional errors or flaws. And that
I'm just happy that finally, 30 minutes in, the character on screen doesn't look like an actual child.
Be well enough. I think someone would have every right to be proud of the final result and quality of this image. It is beautiful, but there is a difference.
But again, her proportions in her face don't fit with the proportions of, like, the model. that's happening here.
Difference between making good AI art and making some of the best. I want the top to look a bit more like armor, and so I'm going to start regenerating the top with a greater weight on armor, with the mecha Laura added back in. And there are some interesting results with good potential. I'm going to combine some of the best features of both. The chest and center of this image is really good, but the wrinkles on the side look awful, and so I'm going to bring in the side parts of the body from another image. I'm going to clean up and reposition some of the line work, bring back the gold highlights, and bring back a much better looking belt that was on one of the previous versions. There are some other errors on the image that need to be fixed, like the position of the cape. It looks like there's just a separate bit of detached cloth. The cape is coming down far too low here compared to how it flares out on the side, and so we're going to remove those incorrect elements on the cape. The earring is standing out too much and doesn't suit the image, so we're going to remove that. And the expression of my wife just doesn't look right.
My wife!
So I'm going to load in another face model, which generates my wife's face in a more artistic style, which won't suit the image, but it always does better proportions. And so I'm going to generate a version with that model of my wife's face, use that as a base guide, and then use the more realistic face model to give us the final expression. And it looks more natural.
Jesus Christ, dude. Can we just, like, go back?
Wife's face.
Okay. I just, we need to, like, fully take in this face. Alright? Fully take in this face.
Use that as a base guide, and then use the more realistic face model to give us
that. Yeah, we came back to more childlike again. Oh god.
the final expression, and it looks more natural with a better smile. Because I was just generating a section of her head, her hair now looks of a different style compared to the hair that is flying off to the left. And so I'm going to select the hair and regenerate it so it's consistent. We are now very close, but there are still some finer details that just need to be fixed, like the sections of cloth here on the skirt, some odd indents and lines on the top, and there's too sharp a transition on the shading on the bust, and so we're going to smooth those out. This is looking pretty darn good, but there is a problem with
Is it though? Is it?
the image, and once again, I wonder if you can notice it. Only someone who is familiar with anatomical proportions would be able to notice this.
He and his wife appeared together in a Doctor Who article, so her name is already out there. Okay, good.
Her shoulders are far too wide to the rest of her frame. It makes her look way too bulky, and so we are going to fix these proportions with the Photoshop Liquify tool. Simple, subtle changes, but it actually has a very significant effect on the overall appearance and composition. The shoulders now look consistent with the rest of her frame, and overall she looks more feminine and delicate, which I personally like.
But her head is colossal compared to the rest of her body. You haven't done anything to address that.
And is more accurate to my wife as well. With all these changes done, we are now ready to generate the final high-resolution version. We're going to use the Ultimate SD Upscaler, which is an extension that you can download in Stable Diffusion. Using the 4x Ultra Upscale checkpoint, another thing that you can download, we're going to increase the resolution by 3 times, which is going to add lots of finer details. And here we have the final image. And when I look at it, I'm honestly put in a state of awe as to how beautiful this image is.
Chat, I'm getting major, like, child beauty pageant vibes off of this image. I hate it. And he's about to say it's the best looking thing ever. Oh my god.
The lighting, the movement, the flow of the hair, cape and cloth, the design
My
of
wife.
the outfit, the finer details,
My
the
wife.
metallic sheen and how the S just pops out.
The foot is still fucked up. The foot is still fucked up in the final product. How?
More like, no look at this horrible tragedy of art.
Oh my god. How? I think this looks like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Foot's just dangling off.
Pops out at you, and of course, it has the beautiful face of my wife. And now let's just compare the before and after.
By Rob
This
Liefeld.
was the beginning image generated from the first prompt. We were able to take that prompt, which already took a lot of human input to refine and get right, generate an image, and using all the artistic ability that I've developed through my life, we were able to turn that image into this. The combination of artistic ability, technical knowledge in the program, working with multiple models, applying LoRa's to get the effects that we want, multiple different tools within the program, from high-res fix to image to detailed multiple steps of in-painting, personal custom-made models that I train myself, and a better extension for a much more refined, upscaled, high-resolution result. And that is just having a technical knowledge of Stable Diffusion, knowing how to use multiple tools, let alone the illustration ability I was able to apply in Photoshop to edit, clean up, fix, and create the image that I wanted. And here we can see the process which we just undertook. There are some image stages that are not appearing because I didn't save them at that stage. But you can still see the overall process, which took me 2.5 hours from start.
Oh god. I just I used an entire lifetime of skill and ability to make it look so much worse.
Start to finish. A lot more time, work, effort, and skill needed than just a click. I can't see how anyone who've watched this entire process could then assume
I slave for you every day over a hot API, sweating and worrying to make you this AI art. You're gonna look at it, you're gonna love it. It's my wife.
that the AI is just doing all the work,
My wife's big head.
and that there is no human artistic vision or input or talent needed. People who say such things honestly do not know what they are talking about.
Did you guys see that? It's shifting through the different faces. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know we're not doing anything productive politically right now. I'm just very much enjoying this.
People who say such things honestly do not know what they are talking about. They are statements from profound ignorance when it comes to this technology. And
Oh god, the shifting face just gets me every goddamn time.
deeply insulting to me as an artist who has just made something of deep artistic expression and love for my wife.
Yeah, okay, bud. I'm okay insulting you deeply in that way. I think you maybe needed to be insulted more deeply. That's again like 80% of the reason why people go to art school, to have their work insulted repeatedly until they stop being like you.
And not just images of my wife, of characters that I love, I can also create incredible high...
A little morphine, Annie. Lol, suck your own dick a little bit more, dude. I don't think you're doing it enough. Don't tempt him, little morphine Annie. He knows the hard magic.
detailed, truly stunning pieces of art of my own characters and stories. These AI art generators do not need to be feared. When used in combination with your artistic ability, artists can get the very best results out of AI art generators. They can be the most incredible tools for artists. And if artists are worried about getting replaced, they need to understand that they have the ability to make the very best AI art. And they could never be replaced when they're still making the very best quality at a competitive rate, speed, and quantity to what many industries are looking for and want. And that's just the commercial industry side of this discussion. The claim that AI art is in no way art at all is a statement of profound ignorance and elitism. And people can believe that. I just know it's not true.
Yeah. Look, I might use the distilled essence of I might use the distilled essence of Salvador Dali to just like summon his ghost to paint for me. But that doesn't mean I'm any less of an artist. The ritual takes a great deal of artistry, you know.
Because I know I continually experience deep artistic satisfaction from the things I am able to create with these incredible tools. Because look at this final image. How could anyone say that it is made by AI, when it is literally impossible for the AI to have made it? You saw
Bud, you are so delusional.
how much human input was involved to create this image, this piece of art. I hope everyone who's watched this video now knows that no, this is a piece of art made by me, made by a human, using tools in combination with other artistic tools like Photoshop and my own artistic ability. It is still human-made art, just assisted with AI technology.
I do.
No! Look. All I'm saying, okay? All I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I went onto this AI generating website and I typed in butts in shorts, and this was the #1 result that I got. I am now an artiste. It's true. Artiste. I am an artist now. I can do art better than any art student. I just graduated right here. Thank you. Thank you, GamerG, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to post all of my work. We're going to have a gallery showing soon. Did you see the amazing marks with boobs from Meta's AI sticker too? No. Oh, God. 10,000 times better than Shad with 10 times better than Shad with 100% less my wife and 1,000 times less pedo vibes. Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, I'm really glad that we did that. That was very fun. Little Morphine Annie, I went to hotpot.ai art generator. What is this? Facebook Messenger has AI generated stickers now? Oh no. Oh God. Oh no. I feel like now I need to like commission Doodleburb to make Karl Marx with Booba for as an emote for all of you. Oh my goodness. Jesus, Karl, you're Booba. Karl Marx. All right. God, yes, do it. We'll see what we can do. How we doing, everybody? We've now been going for 2.5 hours. Are you guys enjoying stream so far. This is the marks from your RPG sessions. True. If you are, hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the stream. Where are we currently on stream likes? Let me take a little gander here. We have 23 likes on the stream. That's nothing. Those are rookie numbers, okay? Just making my art by slamming my head into my keyboard. Then you run that through an AI generator. Yeah, no, Karl Marx, like, immediately stripped. Like, immediately. It was very funny. Shark300, thank you very much for the raid. Hello, raiders. How we all doing today? You having a good one? Shork. We love Shark300 here, don't we, folks? For those of you who may not know who I am, my name's Riverboat Jack. I talk about the news and politics, and that's basically what I do here. And then sometimes I play video games because I want to. I'm a sharker. We all sharkers here. Shark attack. Yippee. Hey, Asvania. Hello, Reza Sutra. How you doing? Oh my god, that video though. That was incredible. God, they missed the hour-long Pato art video. Yeah. Oh my god. I know we didn't need to go over that video, but it was kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I'm glad we did. Which was that last vid? That last vid was politics. In all seriousness, I'm playing the demo for a game called Mars Tactics, where I'm leading a labor uprising against the evil corporate overlords. I think I heard about that. I think I've been meaning to check it out. I haven't looked at it yet, but I remember someone telling me about it. Also, folks, if you've enjoyed stream so far, drop some subs or donos, because those would allow me to live dangerously and safely, because they allow me to live in any manner I so choose. So consider dropping subs or donos. If you do so over on riverboat.gg, get 100% of the money you send my way. So appreciate it if you did it over there, but you can also do it on Twitch or YouTube. Have I ever heard of a game called The Saboteur? Yes, I have. Also, folks, I need to use the bathroom. I will be back in a little bit. See you soon. Hello, everybody. I've just been made aware of a very wonderful thing. Fortunately, that very wonderful thing is offline. So I'm gonna go now. I love you all so, so much. And I'll see you all tomorrow. We're gonna raid into... We're gonna raid into Dylan Burns. Y'all have a good one. I'm really sorry to your raiders, but I'll be back tomorrow, so you should come back again real soon. Bye.